commentary booth. It's already getting to be a shit show in here. Um, I'm your American host today, Corrina Mabey. I'm joined by your normal host, Jamie Apps, who lists his favorite movie as, what do you want it to be this week? I'm gonna go with
I don't
something
know. It's
good.
always different when you take control.
It is. That's gonna be determined, I guess. No, Barbie. Barbie's his new favorite movie today. And then his
That
favorite
wasn't bad.
TV show.
I'll give you that one.
His favorite TV show is South Park. But we're joined by another American co-host per se. My friend Blaze is here. He is an engine account representative, and he lists his favorite movie as Halloween, the original, duh, and then his favorite show as It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So welcome to the commentary booth, Blaze.
Thank you for the invitation. This is awesome. I'm excited. This should be a fun time. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So
Not Halloween 2018.
No. Oh gosh, anything David Gordon Green touches, I avoid like the plague. That trilogy just kept getting worse and worse until the train freaking railed off the track.
Yeah.
And
It
then
started
The
well,
Exorcist,
and then
so
it just fell off.
it went in
rapidly.
reverse. It's so weird. Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is a hunter, and then she becomes a grandma bacon by the third film. What is going? I don't know. Yeah, I could go on a whole subject of David Gordon Green. Let's not get there. The Exorcist, he destroyed that also and got pulled, but I think Mike Flanagan's jumping on, so I'm back on board for that. So I'm down.
So today, kids, on the commentary booth, generally, we watch new shit and tell you what's cool and what's not cool. This episode, we are going back in time because it is the 40th anniversary of my favorite horror movie in the entire fucking world and my entire fucking life ever. A Nightmare on Elm Street. So happy 40th anniversary to that. Jamie had never watched A Nightmare on Elm Street prior to me making him watch it 2 weeks ago. Actually, no, I guess it was like more than 2 weeks ago. It was a few weeks ago. And then I made him watch the third one because no one needs the second one.
What? You get your first male scream queen in the second one. It's so good.
Anyway, I made him avoid it. I told him to avoid it like the plague, and I gave him cliff notes. So, Jamie, Blaze and I were very familiar with this film franchise. What is your take on it for seeing it for the very first time ever?
I enjoyed it. It was another one of those ones where I already knew it.
No, you can't say that. That's cheating.
I did. I've watched The Simpsons episodes, Treehouse of Horrors, and South Park references, and it's a pop culture movie. Everyone knows it overall.
No, you don't understand.
You know the big plot points. Maybe some of the minor nitty-gritty details are different, but the main beats are all there.
Did it hold up though? Watching it, brand new, and it's from 1984. How did it feel?
Yeah, I thought it was great. For the time, the effects, obviously a lot of practical effects, not so much CG. That helps them hold up, and it was really good in terms of that sense. Like, you weren't watching it going, "Oh, geez, that's aged horribly." I think the one scene that I thought was a bit funky was the blood fountain out of the bed. I was like, okay, that looks a bit hokey, but everything else looked cool. The squishy stairs were gross.
I like the stairs. I don't know. It remind me of marshmallow fluff is what it looks like.
Yeah, it might have been. So
I don't want that on my toes though. I'm sure there's people that enjoy that, but not for me.
I'm sure they're walking around with their hot coffee on set or hot chocolate, and they just scoop some in from the stairs. It'd be pretty nice.
After the scene was filmed.
Yeah. Where'd you get that? You don't want to know.
Oh man. It was classic. I don't know. I'm so like. Did you like this better than Friday the 13th? Because I did make you watch that as well, and you said you were very pissed at that film. He
Oh yeah,
was not very happy at all with Friday the 13th.
Because you never actually see the killer.
yeah.
Stupid fucking movie.
It's a normal mystery slasher, I would say. I guess
Yeah.
It's
There's this,
early. It's like 1980, right? I think
yeah,
so.
there's
Yeah.
this guy Jason, and you never actually see Jason. It's like, okay, cool. What the hell?
Oh yeah, he's not even the killer in that one. So we're
No,
talking the OG.
yeah,
Yeah,
never even see him. I was like, oh, that's lame.
he was so pissed when we finished that. He goes, "What the fuck?"
That's
He's like,
awesome.
"Where is
No
he?"
one gets that reaction anymore. That is
Yeah,
great.
he's like,
It ended.
"Where
I was
is
like,
he?"
wait, what?
And then he pops out. Yes.
Ah, it was so good. So that's yeah. At least you know who Freddy is in this film. Blaze, did you rewatch this before we discussed you coming on here?
I tried. So yeah, you discussed this I think a couple days ago.
Yeah,
But so I tried
quality
to get
planning
it.
there, Chris. Late notice.
Hey,
No,
whatever.
I appreciate the invite. I'm so excited. I love this movie. I love Nightmare. I love horror, so it don't matter. But I tried. So I had my daughter this weekend, so I could not watch it at all. So when she went to sleep in the room across, we keep our doors open because she gets scared sometimes. I tried to watch it in silence. So I watched it as a silent film, and I'll say I love the practical effects, and they hold up for me. It looks great. I love how when he cuts his fingers off, when he rips his face off, everything. And I have no sound. It still looks great to me. And I don't know if you saw the remake, but they reenact that same scene where Freddy's head comes through the wall a little bit. And in the remake, it's CGI and it looks terrible. Like probably the day after the movie came out, it looked bad. This one still held up pretty well, and I love how it cut to a different scene, then back to it, and she put the cross on the wall and knocked on it to make sure, like, yo, this is a legit wall. I thought that scene was really well done and held up to today. I thought you were gonna say for like a scene that just doesn't hold up, or if you can do it again, would be the bathtub scene because she is in high school. It is a little,
Oh,
a little,
Space dude.
but the
He
way
said,
they made it looked awesome. Apparently, like there was a guy underwater, like in like this like cupboard that was underneath the bathtub, kind of like they built it out for him to stay under there. So kind of really cool if you look at the behind the scenes for this film and the work, and it's all love. This is back in the day when you make a film out of love, and you can definitely see the difference today than back then. So yeah.
Yeah, I wish more movies would stick to practical effects these days because the ones that do look phenomenal, but it's just way cheaper for them and easier
Yeah.
to like replicate scenes over and over again if it's just CG, green screen, everything.
yeah.
Practicality is an art now, so yeah.
All right. So for those of you who've never seen A Nightmare on Elm Street, I don't know what the fuck you've been doing. Please go out and watch it because it's ancient and everybody should be exposed to it. Regardless of what Jamie says. Like, Blaze has a Freddy tattoo. I have a Freddy tattoo. I went as far as meeting Robert Englund with my daughter a couple of years ago.
Oh,
He's
that's awesome.
the coolest fucking dude ever. And he
Yeah, take a
he
loan
doesn't
out
even
to
need
do that.
makeup. Yeah, he doesn't need makeup. He just is Freddy. But yeah, A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. It follows a group of kids who are being tormented in their dreams by some psycho. They don't understand it, and then we come to find out that they are the children of the Elm Street people who killed this character. His name is Freddy Krueger. He is a child murderer who kidnapped kids, and the parents and town folk did not like that, and they decided to burn him alive. So to get his revenge, he haunts their kids in their sleep. It's pretty fun. Really, the reason I love this movie so much is because it was such an original idea. For when it came out, we hadn't seen anything like that. All of our horror movies leading up to that, they were all masked killers, kind of like just thrillers in general, or just kind of like gross alien features kind of thing.
Stalkers. Yeah.
Yeah, things that you didn't really like, they were run of the mill, but this was such an original concept for me. Like, you can't control what you're doing in your sleep. You can't control what's happening to you. You just have to hope to God you wake up. So I thought that was such a
Some
cool
people
thing, and I
can.
think that's why I resonate. I mean, okay, shut the fuck up. You don't have to say anything, Jamie. You can shut up.
There is a thing called lucid dreaming where people can control it, and it's weird.
I don't know if I believe that. I've never seen evidence.
Of
But I
controlling
also
it.
don't
Well,
look into it.
Because
I
it's
don't
well,
look
in
into
the
that
Dream
kind of shit.
Warriors,
How
though,
do you
you
want to
get
see
some
that
powers.
evidence?
Oh, that's true. That is true. Jamie was exposed to Dream Warriors where they
Yeah.
did have special powers in their dreams. That is very true. That's what sold it for you on the third one, right? Yeah.
It was something.
And you get an early Morpheus in that one, you know?
Yeah, I
A
told
young
him there was a
Morpheus.
fun. We went through it's getting sidetracked, but yeah, we went through the cast, and he goes Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
He's like, but it's Larry. He was
Yeah,
like,
he's Larry
Larry?
Fishburne in
It
that
was
movie.
Larry, yeah.
I was like, who is Larry Fishburne?
Another first we get in this film is on top of our or one of our additions to the main cast is Johnny Depp. This is his theatrical debut, so we see a very young baby like Johnny Depp. Looks very, very different.
Yeah, it's almost unrecognizable.
Yeah, just clean cut kid.
Yeah, like I saw his name pop up, and then when his face popped up, I was like, wait, is that him?
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't look like him.
And I think he did it just to get like car payment money. Like he wasn't expecting to blow up yet and all that. So that's kind of crazy also.
Yeah. I did read that he was only chosen too because Wes Craven's daughter thought he was dreamy and threatened to run away if they didn't cast him.
Man, that's kind of a cool thing though. Like imagine like, oh yeah, I landed that role because the director's daughter was like, yeah, that guy's hot. Like,
oh, his ego was high flying already. It's Johnny Depp we're talking, right?
From the get.
Oh man,
it's I'm from South Florida in Miramar, and so the middle school I went to, Perry, he went to, so it was kind of cool. He was a dropout in high school, but he was down south and growing up in South Florida. So like some pizza shop, I remember Antonio's had like a picture of him and all that. So I was around where the dreamy guy, ate pizza.
That's almost like you know him, right? Like
I know. I felt his presence.
Right?
I felt his presence. I tried to fall asleep in the pizzeria to see if he'd join me.
It's like Hugh Jackman. He's like my best mate. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I was gonna say Hugh Jackman's from Australia. There's like a ton of Australian actors that you must be like besties with, just because they're like from around there.
Chris Hemsworth just lives down the road.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good actors over there. Well, I guess action actors. Hugh Jackman's a good actor. I wouldn't say I don't know about Chris Hemsworth, but
yeah, Nicole Kidman bad.
Nicole Kidman is gorgeous.
Oh, you kidding me? That AMC opening, was it AMC, right?
All of her movie credit things.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, this film featured a lot of new people. Wes Craven said that he did not want Hollywood really to influence this a lot. He wanted them to be run-of-the-mill kids that look like your kids next door. Hence our main lead, Heather Langenkamp. Nancy, I love her in this movie. I love her so much that I'm glad that she came back to do a couple more of them in the franchise.
They don't look like kids next door.
They
I was gonna say Rod
doesn't. Rod looks like he's like in his like 20s or 30s, like strung out. Which, fun fact, unfortunately, he was strung out in parts of this movie in real life.
They're supposed to be what, 15?
Yeah, they're supposed to be like high school kids, and they look like they're in like their 20s.
That's a sad fact, not a fun fact. It's a sad fact.
I was gonna say fun. Unfortunate. Is that better? Unfortunate fact.
Unfortunate fact.
Unfortunate fact. Rod was actually, unfortunately, he admitted to being strung out on heroin when he was in certain scenes in jail.
That makes
like
sense.
Him like looking distraught was real life him being distraught because
he's
he
a
was
method
strung out.
actor. Holy smokes.
Can you imagine being off your face on heroin and then having to look at some of the stuff that's happening on set? He was like, oh, Jesus, I don't know what's happening right now.
I can't imagine that. So that guy really got into his character, and like that was true emotion right there, which is insane.
They do make a funny. I'm doing meth.
Jesus.
They do make a funny joke about their ages though. Like, they're meant to be 15, but they do
Wow.
make that joke of Nancy says, "I look 20 years old." It's like, yeah, because
could it be because you are?
Because of the white hair.
Heather
right?
actually was 20.
Yeah. I like
Wow.
her white streak at the end though.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, she went rogue.
Jesus Christ. I'm done.
Come on.
I'm fucking. I
You
can't
invited
with
me. You invited me. I'm here.
Fuck.
Yeah,
He can
like
be
you
your
said,
mate
that
now.
makes their ages make that some of the sex scenes a bit awkward to watch. And yeah, that bathtub scene, I was like,
Yeah.
this is extra creepy.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the 80s though. You know, this is Greece. I don't think any high school kid looked like they were in high school at all.
Yeah.
So
No, God no. That was wild.
And it makes it even creepier too when you hear about the original idea for Freddy, as well.
It was
Wasn't supposed to be a child murderer, was supposed
the
to be
molester.
a child molester.
Yeah.
No, I know.
And they
I know.
actually
Yeah.
they did that in the remake. They made him. They did decide to go forward with that idea in the remake.
Yeah.
Which is kind of gross because
Like, I guess it's still controversial today, but not as controversial as it would have been in the
then.
80s.
Yeah, because that was a big thing. Like there was a lot of stuff going on
Yeah.
at that time when this movie came out, and it's still extremely,
But
in our faces nowadays. But
it's weird. Yeah, it was like there was like mass molestation going on, I guess, in California. But like, all right, he's not a child molester anymore. He just murders them. Like, is that easier? Is that
That's much more acceptable.
more acceptable, yeah.
That's okay. All right, we're good. We're back
Right.
on board.
I'm just
Turn
gonna
the
say,
camera on.
for
Stumped
anybody
me
who's
one
like,
day.
for anybody who's like, oh, the Terrifier 3, we're going to boycott that because they killed children supposedly in that film. I have not seen it yet. I'm like, let me just tell you, I grew up watching Freddy. He was supposedly a child murderer. And they murdered a bunch of other kids too. I mean, he destroyed people in these films, and they were teenagers.
That one. They said he
Yeah.
killed 20 kids. That's insane.
We do see a child get turned into a blood water fountain. So.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
He got off
He
on a
strangles
technicality from 20 kills. Like, how do you do that? Like, I know we don't get into the court, but that's wild.
Someone didn't sign the right paperwork or submit the right paperwork, and he got off. I was like, on all of the accounts.
Whoops.
And then for some reason, Nancy's mum had the glove with the knives on it, and decided to keep it in her house.
Because that's not creepy.
Isn't that evidence? Yeah. Isn't that locked away somewhere?
So that's a big theory I have just out there, that Freddy actually always wanted to kill her. His whole thing of manipulating and attacking the kids was to get Nancy to eventually pull him out of the dream, because the way the mom dies is so weird, as a skeleton in the bed, and he goes right for her and he kills her. He doesn't go after anyone else. So, and then she also has his glove. So I'm wondering if she's the Karen, she's the lead of getting him murdered, and that was his whole attack. And then I've heard other things, but that's my theory. I think he wanted to get her the whole time, and he does at the end.
It's a good theory.
It definitely makes sense.
She has the glove. And also, what's part of that theory too is she drinks constantly so that she doesn't dream. She black out and just wakes up. Yeah, she has no dreams. Yeah. The only way to get to her is her daughter.
That is true. Epiphanies. That's what I'm having right now.
I'm surprised they didn't follow up on that. Like, they could have, even in the remake sequels, they could have been like, that's a theory that makes sense. Let's do that.
Dude, I haven't found it. Like, I wrote that one down because we actually did this a year ago. We did this an episode on this film in my podcast, and I couldn't find anyone else thinking the same way. I was like, I saw this movie. I was like, I think there's a little bit of a string theory going on there, but no one else sees it. So maybe I'm just cuckoo bananas. But I give credit for the remake though, because the remake is terrible, but it does play with the molestation part, in that maybe he's not doing it, and then at the end it's like, no, he is. he's a creeper. So I don't know if you've seen the remake or not, but yeah, they play with that a little bit.
You
I'm
don't have
apparently
to.
not allowed to.
No, it's
It's bad.
awful.
Yeah.
Are you a trading card collector or a fan of Australian pro wrestling? If so, you're not going to want to miss out on the limited edition Australian wrestling cards. Each set includes 50 packs of 10 cards, including some of the country's top wrestling talents like Robbie Eagles, Shane Haste, Madison Eagles, Hartley Jackson, and they have Shaza McKenzie listed, although she is not a favorite. The Velocities, and a lot more. There's wrestlers, referees, announcers, commentators that are featured, giving you a full appreciation of the Australian independent scene. The cards sold out a lot faster because cards are hot right now, as I'm sure Jeremy Lambert will tell you. But you can order your Australian wrestling cards now at Pario Magazine. That's PARIO magazine.com.au/AUS WRES cards. Follow Australian Wrestling Cards on social media at AusResCards for updates. Join the hundreds of fans who have already discovered the excitement of Australian wrestling cards.
It's so bad. I don't want you to have to see like the baloney skin mask that they put on him. It's not even like he doesn't even look like he's burned. It just looks like his skin's like creepy and awfully like latex melting, but it looks like baloney too in spots that have like little like bite marks for eye holes.
And I like that actor too. I feel bad.
What?
What's it look like?
Oh my god, no. I'm not saying the word. They don't call baloney. They call it fucking Devin over in Australia, and he won't leave me alone about it.
They call it a guy's name? They're like Devin next door? Like what?
Kind of Devon.
Yeah.
Oh, Devon. Yeah, all right.
Devon. But he says Devin, and I'm just like, no, it's fucking baloney.
So wait, is that like on the label and everything over there, or is that a nickname?
No, it's Devon.
When you go to the all right, that's cool.
You go to the deli in the supermarket and you go, I'll just get half a kilo of Devon.
The skin off it. Oh, all right, nice. Kilo too. Dang. My American brain, sorry.
Dude, let me tell you, I just have like a conversion Google page on my phone that stays open in my browser, so I can just convert quickly every time he says something to me.
Well, if you had an Apple phone, you could just use the conversion calculator now.
Fucking Apple phone, Android for life.
Android, yeah. No Apple.
Your Apple phone costs like 3 of my car payments.
Oh, shit.
That's okay. It's okay. We'll convert you and make you have a Devon and Dead Horse sandwich.
Fucking Christ, Dead Horse! You'll never say ketchup the same way again. Like it's ketchup.
It's ketchup. Dead Horse. Yep, how did we get there? Horse. I'm down. Let's go down that rabbit hole.
It rhymes with sauce.
Dead Horse and sauce. Dead sauce.
Yeah. So. Oh my god.
And it also looks like blood, so it's Dead Horse.
Yeah, it does. You can use some ketchup.
So now you can offer your kid some Dead Horse with her chicken nuggies.
She'll dig it.
I can't.
She's a barbecue sauce person right now. She's like figured it out. Like, oh my god, barbecue sauce is so good. So that's on everything now.
I just came up with a new nickname for a Devon and Dead Horse sandwich.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
What do you got?
You can call it the Krueger.
Ooh, nice.
Because it looks like his face.
We're gonna eat a couple Krugers.
Oh my god! Please tell me that this is gonna catch on somewhere. Like some sandwich shop needs to just market this now or something.
I haven't eaten bologna since I was like a little kid. Like I'm not a bologna person or a Devon person. But I'll try the Krueger because of the name. So
oh my god,
let's put some horse sauce on some bologna. I'm down.
I can't. Nope. I'm gonna check out now of this conversation with bologna and fucking ketchup because I think that's a disgusting combination.
So he has a bologna face, and then Freddy Krueger's actually came from what? A pepperoni pizza. So
yes.
It's very food topics going on.
Yeah.
The design of his like face and burns in this is awesome.
It is, yeah.
And they did a great job. Like I was reading, it was a 3-hour makeup job every time. Robert Englund had to sit down to get his makeup done every morning for filming. It started 3 hours earlier for him just to do the makeup.
That's dedication though, and that's why it looks so good is because it was done in that long time frame. They didn't just
it's not just a latex pullover mask.
Yeah,
like
right.
Actually sat there and painted his face.
That's why I think
Absolutely.
this film has like such a deep appreciation from a lot of people, and I think it withstands time kind of because you're not having to see this like really dated looking latex mask that's now like evolved so much over the years. It's just
Yeah, because
prosthetics and makeup.
these days they wouldn't pay for a highly skilled makeup artist to come in and do 3 hours of makeup every day. They're just gonna be like, somebody just make a latex mask and we can just
Yeah.
slap that on him every day, and it's a lot easier on the actor too. They don't have to sit in a chair and then walk around with this heavy makeup on all day.
Just to be clear, we're not shitting on Michael Myers, right, guys? Like, chill out a little bit. All right, we can wear a latex mask every once in a while.
I think his looks fine
The
because
Captain
it's
Kirk.
supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like a guy in a mask.
No, I'm
Wait.
messing.
Now that I think about it, Jamie, have you ever seen the original Halloween movie? Because there are so many fucking movies you've never seen before.
You messed up so bad if he hasn't.
You've
I'm
never
signing
fucking
off.
seen it.
All right,
Oh my
this was a good
god.
episode.
I've seen
See
bits.
ya.
I saw 2018.
You saw 2018. Jesus
That is
Christ. Oh my
insane.
god.
Oh my-
No.
You saw the
You can't
sequel
do
to
that.
it, apparently.
It's like, oh my god.
There's a
That's
couple
like saying,
sequels
no,
to
I've
it.
never seen Saw, but I've seen Saw 10 or whatever. You can't do
Yeah.
it. No.
Yeah, no, I saw
All right.
2018 and the subsequent.
That's your fault. I don't
sequels.
blame him.
I saw that trilogy.
He saw David Gordon Green's horribleness. Okay.
All right. Well, we're adding this to the list. Next week we are watching The Shining because Janie's also never seen The Shining.
Okay.
But yeah.
I've seen Doctor Sleep though.
Wow.
Yep.
All right.
Do you see what I'm working with? It's fucking difficult.
At this point, I'm just doing it to piss her off.
That is great. He's like, I haven't seen Alien, but Alien Resurrection, 1997.
Oh my
was
God.
amazing.
I would have died if he had told me that.
Oh, God.
I'm so glad that we watched that
Terrible.
entire franchise, but if he had
You
told me,
did?
no, I've
Nice.
seen this one,
Uh,
I would have cried.
I would have seen Romulus without seeing any of the previous ones. Just
Yeah, that's
You
why I
could,
made
you
him
could.
watch it. No,
Yeah.
no.
You
I
can.
made
You
him
can,
watch
though.
the franchise.
You can.
It's
Yeah.
separate.
It's separate, and it's a lot of nods to the old school ones. I mean, I love how they fit Prometheus in there a little bit. But yeah, let's try to stay on topic. I guess I don't know.
We're gonna go sidetracked
into the
everywhere.
Alien. I just watched
Story time.
Romulus this week, so
Oh God, you're way
I enjoyed it a
behind.
lot. So, but you gotta know watching whenever you do get around to Halloween '78, like date it, be there in the moment, and the coolness of making that film, because that's like all hands on deck. The actors helped out with everything. Like the whole set was helped by every single person. Like when they threw the leaves out there to make it look like fall, they had to pick those freaking leaves up and rebag them. All the actors, everyone. So it was a very on-set, heartfelt type of film, and so yeah, I love Halloween
Dedication.
78. Yeah.
See?
Even the mask, they made it out of Captain Kirk, and they cut his eyeballs and they painted it all white and they fluffed the hair out. So that's cool. Yeah.
I can't.
Sorry, I'm not trying to take over. Go next one.
No.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Michael is not as cool, and I just had this conversation with my mother, and I was like, "That's right, I forgot you're a Jason Voorhees person." She goes, "No, actually, I'm a Michael Myers person."
Nice, your mom's cool.
And I was like, "Nah, we're gonna fight later, but it's cool." Mom also admitted she's never really seen all of A Nightmare on Elm Street from start to finish. She's only ever seen bits and parts of
You've
it.
seen one, you know.
See?
Yeah. You know.
No, that's not how that fucking works. Y'all are nuts. I'm just saying.
See a few memes, see a few cartoon references, and you've got the whole story.
Just, no. Anyway, you can't appreciate this movie unless you've seen it in its entirety, especially considering that this movie had a budget of $1 million, $1.2-ish million.
Yeah,
So they didn't have a lot working for
57,000
them.
of that was just effects.
Yeah. So, I mean, they had like a kind of good balance there, I guess. But it raked in a ton of fucking money. And it was the movie that I guess kind of saved New Line Cinema.
Yep.
Because they were
call New
failing
Line
terribly.
Cinema the studio that Freddy built. Yeah.
So, this movie is such a great success, and I don't think anybody really thought that it was going to be because, again, it's a horror movie, and it's kind of a niche thing. Not everybody's into them, but I also feel like they kind of struck a home run when they were like, oh, this is a new concept. Everybody come and see it, kind of thing.
Yeah, to go from spending just over $1 million to earning over 57 million is pretty wild.
And
He's
it's still
spawning an
going.
icon, spawning a franchise. Like he's a big deal, and
He-
it's hard to get that nowadays. Like that's the '80s. That's the Freddy, the Jason, the Michael Myers pillars that were built. Um, you don't quite like the. If you think about today's, you can go by like Hatchet, but even Hatchet never made the money that these films have. Billy the Puppet, you would go with Jigsaw, that whole series
Yep.
maybe, but iconic wise, I don't know if you can make it like that anymore. And if you watch old school stuff in the '80s, like they went on talk shows in their costumes, in their full, like there was music made that was all fun. They made a TV show that was like that was huge, and that you will never see again. So I have a pretty good appreciation for all that jazz. Dream Warriors, you heard the song, it was made only for the movie. Like they don't do that nowadays. So
No. And
Well, that's what
I mean,
I saw something today or yesterday that someone sort of suggested that Art the Clown from Terrifier is like
okay,
the most recent since those sort of characters to come along and be like, oh, here's the next horror icon. And it's like, yeah, I guess that does make sense. Like he's such a unique looking character where you see all the sort of art, like the fan art and stuff, and you go, oh, it's immediately recognizable as the guy from Terrifier.
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
crazy.
So,
The film was so like no one talked about those two films. Like the first two, no one really ever said anything about them. They were very like, you know,
Yeah, they were underground, like cult
yeah,
movies.
yeah, exactly. And it was kind of like one of those unspoken films. And now everybody and their mother is like, oh, I'm going to go see The Terrifier. And half of these people, I think, that are falling into that movie theater right now have never seen any of the other ones.
Number one movie in America starring Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Is Y2J in there? Chris Jericho. Wow. I didn't see Terrifier 3 yet. I seen the first two.
I think he's in the second one too.
Yeah, he's a security guard.
Oh wow. Yeah, okay, that's going to my map. That's insane. The second one was way too long. I don't know why. But Art the Clown is a cool story, just because of that, what you said. Like these two films were like niche. Like you heard about it if you had a horror friend that's like, oh, you want to see something crazy, just a gory film for no reason. But now everyone has been talking about Terrifier 3. Like I had 3 friends that went to go see it last week. Never seen the first two. They didn't even care to go watch the first two. They went to the theaters to see this number 3. So yeah, I give him his icon status for that. Somehow that built out of there, and that's mad props. That you don't hear it. That doesn't happen at all. The third film is the wide release at theaters. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever actually originally planned like that either. I don't think that guy ever thought it would blow up like that.
Well, it started in a short, right? An anthology, so.
Yep.
Yeah, to spin off from a short film to go into 3 movies, but yeah,
that's a big
I think
deal.
what probably helped it is it was coming out alongside one of the worst movies of the year. And everyone's like, we want to go to the movies, but we don't want to go and see Joker because it's apparently terrible. So what's this other movie?
What's this other clown that we get to see?
And then Joker, the marketing has been awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you ever call the number when he like picks up or whatever, and then he I forget, I think he gives you like a penny on your Cash App. Did you see that marketing with Terrifier 3? Yeah. There was a number where you could call Art the Clown, and he doesn't talk, so you just hear like the horn and stuff and whatnot, and then at the end you get like a penny sent to your Cash App based on your number. It was really cool. Yeah, look up the marketing on that part. Art the Clown, really Cash Apping people.
I love all the marketing of just being like, oh yeah, these people went to see this movie, and there's like people throwing up in the cinema and like walking out and just like, okay, you've got me. I want to see it.
Well, that bit is a little forced though. Like you see that
you see that a lot,
like Hostel and stuff. But I remember I was reading about how they did it with Terrifier 3, and it was kind of messed up because they gave free tickets telling people about a Christmas movie. They did not tell them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a little
they didn't say what it was.
Yeah. So there's like old people going in there. They're going to walk out, of course. Like that's not for them. So that was a little bit of a stretch.
I feel like that marketing that they're doing now, like this extent of marketing, like with Art the Clown, and then the way that they did like Romulus, where they just had random people with fucking
Oh, that was cool.
face huggers on them,
Yeah.
like all over the damn place.
Just lying
I
in
feel
the
like that
lobby.
has, yeah, I feel like that has now replaced like the TV skits that the movies of like the 80s used to do, where they would go on like Jay Leno in full costume. Like this is the next level of that, which is so interesting to see how it's evolved, kind of.
Yeah, it's
You
because
have to be
you got
smart,
the
yeah.
virality. Like nobody watches TV
Yeah.
now, but
No.
you see a clip of somebody walking out of a movie and there just being people laying in the lobby with face huggers on. That's going to spread like wildfire. So.
Yeah.
You got to go viral, right?
That's whatever it is. TikTok famous. It used to be do it for the gram, and now it's like you got to be TikTok famous or something now.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with these kids. I just cannot.
You have one. She's not into the TikTok fame.
No, my kid watches TikTok shorts of like dogs doing stupid shit.
Oh, cute.
We don't do that other shit. Fuck that. Jamie, you always have other stupid fun facts about things, and then you have like a ton of notes that you wouldn't share with the class. So, what else did you write down?
I wrote down some of the like special effects things that I liked, like the stretching through the wall. I thought looked pretty great. Tina's face getting peeled off was epic. That first like kill scene, you're like, oh, okay, we're locked in on this. It's not going to be like these just, oh, this person got stabbed and they're dead. Like these are going to be over the top, insane kills. I mentioned the squishy stairs, which, ugh. But then the other special effect that really grossed me out. Freddy's tongue coming out of the phone.
Yes.
That has been like an ongoing joke between us, because obviously like he has a lot of tongue sequences in Dream Warriors, and when we were watching that, he was like, oh my god, gross. It's been the best thing ever.
I mean, maybe he works magic with the tongue. Did you say, Nancy, I'm your boyfriend now?
He is a child molester, I guess.
Oh god.
Fitting. Yeah,
murderer. He's a child murderer.
In this one, at least.
Yeah, but I think like all of those tongue scenes would have been like written with the idea of, he's a child molester, and then
dude, that would have been so.
And then they just had to like tone it back a little bit.
Oh, if they'd stuck with that, it would have been even more creepy, in my opinion. Like, grody.
There's literally little kids jump roping, saying the 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. So it's all hinting at it. I mean, he's very psychological, which is rewatching the original. I didn't think about back in the day, but like he's cutting his fingers off, like he's being weird. He has the little worm coming out of his mouth when he's Tina, like doing all the weird stuff. Not the worm, the centipede. Just nastiness, just nasty stuff, and so that fits more of the child molester part than anything. But that scene, the opening kill is like, put your seatbelt on, like that's wild, that's insane. The way
it's not going to be your standard slasher, like, this guy breaks in and stabs someone. Like it's going to be over the top, outrageous, supernatural type kills.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think in 1984, because definitely the special effects got better, the practical effects got better. I think Friday the 13th, the final chapter came out there, and there was a lot of good practical effects and kills. But this one, even that one kill, and then Johnny Depp's later, is like a big deal, huge deal, memorable. You take that home with you when you left that theater, or as a kid when you rented that VHS. Those were insane. I love in the beginning when Tina has the nightmare, and then all the parents are like over the top horrible people. Like the mom comes in and it's like, oh, what's wrong with you? And then the guy comes in and is like, oh, come on, baby. I'm like, you need to come back to the bed. I was like, calm down. Poor Tina had a nightmare. And she grabs a crucifix, and I love that because that's part of the song. I think it's like, what is it? Yeah. So that's awesome. Yeah.
The other thing I wrote down was there were horror bugs in this movie, but good ones for Corrina, not bad ones.
I still don't like centipedes. I'm not a fan of them, but I will take them over the other things.
What about maggots over cockroaches?
No, they're
In
all grody. Like, I can't watch certain things because of bugs. Just, I know it was a different day and age, but again, I'm going to plead with producers and directors and photographers, filmographers, stop putting bugs in your fucking movies. Please.
Yeah, but at least they weren't cockroaches. They were
I don't.
maggots this time.
Anyway, I'm done with that.
We're
Can
gonna have
we
our first
move
throw up
along?
live on the podcast.
No, we are not. It'll never. No. You might see me go into a panic attack if Jamie just randomly like fucking has one superimposed on the fucking screen or something. But
What else did I have?
again, mm-mm.
Oh yeah, they overtly like sexualize these 15-year-old teenagers as well, like that shot between her
Yeah.
legs and them like constantly talking about wanting to have sex with each other, and I was just like,
Yeah.
aren't these people 15? What's going on here?
I mean,
It's the 80s, I
think
guess.
that-
People were doing that a lot earlier.
I mean,
Also,
high
like,
school. That
Poor-
could have been happening.
Poor Glenn in the beginning when like Tina and Rod are just
Rod
going
is
at it. Like, dude, that poor man was like scarred for life, and you know it. He's just sitting there like, God damn it! Oh my god, I can't believe what I'm fucking hearing. Kind of moment. Like, you feel almost bad for him.
Yeah, why is he on the couch? That's wild.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Just like obnoxiously like over the top noises coming out.
And then
of
Rod
there.
took
And
a
I'm like,
knife
dude.
to him, man. Rod's a dangerous guy. So,
Dude, he's one of those kids.
do you think they had the same nightmares too with Freddy? The guys?
Probably.
I
They were probably
think
a little
so.
bit different.
I think it was alluded multiple times. At least what Rod mentions, he had. Oh, maybe I could sleep well. You don't have a corner on the nightmares market. He
Yeah.
says to Tina, but
Yeah.
also bringing that little like 3 sharp prong thing, that garden tool he had. That's kind of similar to like the claws. And then I always thought of Glenn also because he always had an answer, like he's been researching dreams and how to sleep whenever he's like, oh, you got to do this, or oh, you got to do that. I'm like, Glenn, I think he's having these nightmares, but none of the guys want to talk about Freddy. And so it's kind of cool because we only ever see Freddy in the nightmares of the girls. We never get to see them through the guys' nightmares. So,
which also makes you think back too about that whole child molester thing, where like if he favorited like unfortunately like little girls versus like the boys more or something like that. It's very different. Like, it's very strange when you go ahead and pull it apart like piece by piece and look at the different things like that.
Yeah, if he was just a murderer, he could have been in anyone's dreams, but he obviously had a flavor.
A preference.
Yeah.
I also wrote down smoking in hospitals. Definitely a true sign of the era.
Especially you're like oxygen machines and shit.
Yeah.
Smoking anywhere you...
Yeah, I'm not so worried about her like blowing the place up because there's oxygen around. I'm more worried about like a doctor would not let that fly these days. They'd be like, get out. Not smoke indoors anywhere.
Think about smoking. Yeah, they used to smoke on airplanes, at the movie theater. Like, these were normal places to smoke. It's wild to me too. It
was gross. What else have I got down? The Home Alone booby traps before Home Alone.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, I wonder if Home Alone like took inspiration from some of these things.
100%.
Heather walks the Macaulay Culkin run.
And then Nancy goes 7 days without sleep and says that the record is 11. I looked it up. The current world record for most days without sleep is 11 days and 25 minutes, which is 453 hours and 40 minutes.
That's a lot.
That's a long time to not sleep.
I can't imagine that. Like,
I'm tired after 6 hours.
I was gonna say, you take a fucking afternoon nap every day almost. Like, I can't fathom that.
Yeah, it's held by a 17-year-old named Randy Gardner, who didn't sleep as a high school science fair project in California in 1963, setting the world record for the longest someone has stayed awake.
Why would a teacher approve that? Granted, you said it was what, in the 60s or whatever?
Yeah, 63.
So that explains it, because I guess they didn't really care back then. But 17 years old trying to stay awake for 11 fucking days, like, that's like child abuse nowadays. Like,
especially nowadays. Like when we
That
know
World
what
of Warcraft guy that died. Wasn't there a kid that died staying up
Yeah.
every day, not eating and drinking?
The fuck?
like these days when we know like the health risks of staying awake that long, like it leads to increased blood pressure, like high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, depression. You can have a heart attack or a stroke just because you don't sleep. Like your organs need to turn off at some point. They can't just stay awake forever.
It's a recovery time, yeah.
I can't fathom that.
I guess as a teenager, I mean, back in the day, I definitely stayed up a day, maybe 2 days, playing video games and
Chugging energy drinks left and right, like
Yep.
that was the way
But
to go back in
not
the day.
more than that, because you crash hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like
God.
2 days max
2
would be
days
the longest
max.
I've ever gone. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm tired now.
For sure.
Yeah. At least Nancy wasn't, shoveling spoonfuls of instant coffee and downing it with a Coke chaser like in Dream Warriors.
Oh my goodness.
Yuck.
She was just drinking straight coffee all the time, but they elevated it.
Never went to the bathroom once, like unrealistic.
Yeah. Wow.
Also, Glenn's dad, why is he victim shaming Nancy? Like, what the hell, dude? Everyone
She's an
around her
asshole.
keeps playing, and he's just like, yeah, it's your fault. You're some kind of lunatic. Like, what?
Yeah.
I love that her mom is like, oh, we're not gonna, move or anything like that, or take extra precautions like putting extra locks on doors. No, we're gonna straight up bar your fucking windows and doors every
Yeah, it
day
has to be
too.
per
Like,
person.
yeah, that was a bit extreme. Like, come home and see bars all over the damn place. Like, what the fuck?
Well, my whole problem was, I mean, kids are dying. There's like 3 kids dead at this point, and she gets Freddy out, and she's literally breaking every window and yelling out to police that are out there, and no one comes. I'm like, I think
You're
if
like,
there's a teenager
I'll get
screaming,
that. That's all right.
yeah,
yeah,
what?
don't worry. Give me a second.
You're literally at a murder scene, so maybe the murderer's nearby. Like, what the fuck? The kids are dying. What are you doing? That was unbelievable.
Oh, it's so good, so gold.
Yeah.
This movie, it had great success. Like we said, this movie spawned a bunch of additional films. There were 7 sequels, 1 remake, and one of those sequels, the very last one, was a collaboration crossover with Jason Voorhees, which isn't too bad. It's not the worst in the fucking franchise, we'll put it that way. It's not the best in the world, but definitely not the worst.
I liked it. I have fun with it.
Yeah, Freddy vs. Jason is fun. That is what my tattoos are based off, is Freddy vs. Jason. So clearly I like the film a lot. But I think it's just so much fun that this is one of the franchises that I feel other movies nowadays have tried to copy. Like Scream, I feel, is a great example of trying, and Saw as well. They see the success of something like this, or like Friday the 13th, where they had all of these additional sequels and it worked so well. But now it's like, it doesn't work so well, because they're not doing anything to like revamp it, or they don't have as much of a box office success as other things did. I feel like Scream started out strong, and now it's just gotten pretty rough. Yeah, it's gotten pretty rough.
Like, they're making good money though. Like, and Scream's Wes Craven though, so he can't.
I know, but
he
it's
knew the
like,
formula.
He knew the formula, but it's
you
still
can't
not
hate
good.
on Scream. That's a '90s Mount Rushmore horror. Come on.
And they were smart enough to let it sit for a bit. They didn't just annualize it. It's not a Scream movie every year. Like, they let it go away. So then when it came back, everyone's like, okay, cool, I'm keen for another one.
And I love those. Those are like meta slashers, because they know they're in a horror film and they're trying to follow rules. They're trying to do different things. Like, I cannot believe you're hating on Scream right now.
No. Okay, not the original. Okay, I give it the first 4. I'll give it the first 4. Okay, but the newest ones, I could give it. I know.
I love Jenna Ortega, so
the new ones are great. What are you talking about?
They're all right. But
they're all right. The New York one I didn't like. The one before it was okay. So
yeah.
The New York one was I didn't care for the villains.
Anytime they take it to a big city, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, Jason Takes Manhattan.
I was gonna say Jason Takes Manhattan is the perfect example of that one.
Because yeah, anytime they take Scream to a big city, it's like, why is he only targeting these specific like 6 or 7 people when there's millions of people that he
The
could
core
attack?
4, baby.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you're hating on, you can't hate on Jigsaw, man. James
I'm
Wan
there's
started a
too many of
franchise.
them. There's too many Jigsaws. For
There's
me,
a
there's
lot
too
of
many
bad
good
ones,
ones.
yes. Fair.
And
Yes.
it got super convoluted on like
Yeah.
who the killer is. Like,
Right.
Oh,
There's that.
what?
What is
Like
Final
every other
Spiral
was
has
a
the
Destination is another
spin-off.
one.
sequel. Every other was a prequel. Yeah, like, no, definitely. I get that. And Spiral is atrocious, but every franchise has atrocious films. Nightmare on Elm Street is what? Freddy's Dead, probably. So
Freddy's Dead, and also
you have Tom Arnold and Roseanne in Freddy's Dead. Okay, so you know it's gonna be a terrible film.
Look, we just piqued his interest. He's like, wait, can we watch this one next?
Check it out. Oh, it's terrible. Apparently, there's no kids in this town and stuff. It's a bad
It's really
film.
bad. It's pretty rough.
And then Jason Goes to Hell is atrocious of a film.
Jason X is up there too. Don't.
Is that the one in
I
space?
know. I like the space one. I felt the Jason vibes in space with it.
Yeah, they
Jason
sent
Goes to
Jason
Hell,
to
you don't feel
space.
no Jason vibes. Jason Even Takes Manhattan kind of lacks the Jason vibes. Jason X does it, man. It brings it into space somehow. So I dig
All
it as a
these-
slasher of
So
nonsense.
ridiculous.
There's so many. They got us
Leprechaun
out
goes
as
to space
Leprechaun.
too, okay?
Leprechaun
Yeah.
goes to space. Leprechaun in the Hood. There's a bunch of Leprechaun ones.
Hellraiser goes to space. So look it up.
True. They're all eventually going to end up in space at some point.
Michael
in time.
Myers never got there yet. I've been waiting.
Somehow they've got to end up fighting a xenomorph.
Oh my god!
Just chuck 'em all
make
in the
that
one.
happen. Just
Hell yeah,
one
I'm down
gigantic
for
horror
that.
movie of.
Make it the Fortnite of horror movies.
But
All of them fighting each other.
it's Dead by Daylight, pretty much, that they put all those things in now. But I would say nowadays, yeah, you don't have those franchises, but the Conjuring universe is such a great horror addition. Of you have the Conjuring films, you have the Annabelle films. I'm forgetting another one in that universe. The La Llorona. There's multiple characters in all these different films, so I appreciate the universe that made.
Yeah,
Just
I guess they have
somehow too.
They have
the
that
blue.
nun character as like their icon as well, so they
Yeah.
kind of have one, but it's not
Yeah.
like Freddy Krueger as the
Yeah, it varies,
icon
I guess, from the
level.
franchise.
They're so good at like bringing a side character, and they're like, oh man, that's a creepy ass character, and then boom, spinoff, easy. Annabelle with that. So yeah, I give mad props to that. Sinister kind of tailed down, but that haunted house is probably the best haunted house I've ever been in at Halloween Horror Nights. So it was amazing.
What
Which
else?
one was your favorite this year?
Oh, my favorite house this year was Insidious because I shit my pants in there pretty much. But
Yeah, Insidious was the best.
it was pretty good. It was the Exorcist house for me this year.
That was
Like
good.
last year was Exorcist, this year was Insidious.
Yeah.
Same effects on me both times. So it's good times.
Great times.
And then
All right.
the last couple of trivia things I wrote down is this movie has now been selected for preservation in the National Film Registry of the US
As it should be.
because it's culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant as of 2021. Weird that it took until 2021 to do that.
True.
And then I also read that a lot of the inspiration for this is from real life events happening around Wes Craven at the time. So there was a bunch of newspaper articles in the LA Times in the 70s about Hmong refugees who were fleeing Cambodia, Vietnam, and Laos. And then they all started suffering disturbing nightmares and refused to sleep, which then led to a bunch of them actually dying and it being called Asian death syndrome by medical authorities. And then also we mentioned like Freddy was supposed to be a child molester, but there was a spate of highly publicized cases in California around the time, so they kind of wound that element back. So it's pretty cool that he did take it wasn't just this outlandish story that he pulled out of nowhere. It was there are touchstones to this that make it even more believable and more scary, I guess.
Absolutely.
And another of note, because we were talking about Insidious. I mean, you got to mention Lynn Shay. She's a teacher in Nightmare
Yes,
on Elm Street, so she's great. She's a horror icon herself. So
I
if
had
she's in a
to
film, it's
tell him
great.
that. I was like, "Do you know who that
Yeah.
teacher is?" And he goes, "No." And I go, "That's Lynn Shay." He goes, "Who?" And I was like, "Ugh." I was like, "The Insidious movies," and he's like, "Oh, the
Yeah.
old lady." Okay.
Yeah, I think she's in Something About Mary also, if you want a non-horror film.
Oh my god. Totally.
Yeah,
Um,
Lynn Shay's great.
and then the last thing, Freddy's iconic red and green sweater. Do you know why they went with those colors?
Because they're weird. I don't know.
So there was an article in the Scientific American in 1982 that determined that those two colors were the most clashing to the human retina.
Mhm.
So they
Even though they represent Christmas.
Did they at the time though? I wonder.
I don't know if they. Well, I don't know. I guess maybe Christmas and red and green were kind of just like a maybe new thing or something. But it is kind of an ugly color combination, to be fair.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
for the longest, I always thought it was black and red until I really looked.
Jesus
So yeah,
Christ.
when I was a
Because
kid.
I think if you look at like a color wheel, they aren't like they're not next to each other, but they're also not like direct opposites, so they don't contrast at all.
Yeah, it's ugly.
Yeah, they're like
He's always dirty too, though.
Yeah,
they're direct opposites, basically, almost.
they cancel out each other is what it's supposed
So,
to do
but
on the color wheel.
normally, like if you pick the direct opposites on a color wheel, they kind of weirdly work.
Yeah,
But those two colors, for some reason, just don't work together unless they're like the bright poppy green and red of like Christmas. And then they probably only work because we look at it and go, oh, it's Christmas.
yeah. His is more like a dusty like brick color and like a evergreen kind of color, like a really gross looking green.
Yeah, I think it's those two specific tones of the colors that are just like, that's off-putting without like having a reason behind it. You just look at it and go, something doesn't feel right. Makes me feel a bit icky.
Yeah, it's very true. I think that's it.
everything
Jamie,
I have.
yeah, well then you can take us out because I'm really bad at it.
You got to do the ratings bit first.
Oh, why? We already know that this movie's a 5-star across the fucking board.
Classic.
Okay, fine. just for shits and giggles. Blaze, what is your opinion on Freddy? How many stars are you gonna give this out of
It's
5?
out of 5. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's gonna get. Let me say 5. Yeah, 5 out of 5. Yeah, 5. Yeah. It's a classic.
Jamie?
You can't poop on a classic, but I think he's about to.
Yeah, he's going to. I can almost guarantee you he'll about to. Just to piss me off.
I would say 4. Like,
Right.
it probably hurts that I kind of like went in there knowing a lot of it. Nothing like blew me away. So I think if you could somehow go in totally fresh, I think you'd be much more impressed. But going in there with that sort of preconceived, like I know essentially what's going to happen here, I was like, it lived up to all the expectations. Yeah, I think if that blood fountain scene had been a little bit better, it'd have been 5. That was the one thing I was like, oh, that looks hokey.
Not the running. Did you see the running? Like the fake running was so bad. When Tina runs, it's like, she's doing slow motion, but nothing else is. Like, what are you
running
doing?
on the spot.
Yeah, their running was so bad. That's how I'll give it. Even Nancy has a bad running bit. Both of them do.
And none of the running bits are as bad as Dream Warriors when she's carrying the little girl through the house and she gets stuck in the mud. Okay, that's pretty fucking rough.
Yeah. So in saying that, like even as a 4, I still really enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a 5 in my book. Always will be. It always has been. I love this franchise with everything in my heart. It was my first introduction to like slashers, I think, in general. And I've been a fan ever since. So I love it. I'll never get sick of it. All right. So Blaze, do shameless plugs for your shenanigans really quick and what's going on with you.
Yeah, I also kind of host a podcast, a horror one, and it'll be on Instagram at Tripping in the Woods. So just look up Tripping in the Woods on Spotify or anything that you listen to your podcast. It might be there, it might not, but it's worth a try. And speaking of, I mean, we were talking about running. I mean, that's where our title comes from. Everyone in horror films back in the day were always tripping or just does not know how to run. So Tripping in the Woods, definitely come by, give us a listen, dig it or not. We just talk horror films. And yeah, that was my shameless plug.
Cool. And Jamie can leave this out because I don't remember my own tags. So thanks. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow Corrina on Instagram at Miss Corrina Renee, and you can follow me on social media at Jamie Ups Media and at Pario Magazine. The commentary booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Ups Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Ups Media. The following people supported at the publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support.